Emotionally abusive sister loses job because I move. I made this account just to post my story. I'm new to Reddit and learned about it from Reddit YouTubers r/miserybox, Leham, and much more. I've been addicted to these videos and decided to share. This will be a long post, so sorry in advance. Little bit of background. I'm the second youngest of 8, and my siblings are my half-siblings on my mother's side. I didn't grow up with them and my mother. In my adult years is when I started getting involved with them. That's when I realized how crappy they actually are. I dropped out of college and lived with my eldest sister for a few months before going back to my childhood home, which was being foreclosed on because my brother never paid the mortgage. My grandmother left him the house since she had moved. It was my dad's, but he passed. The house was supposed to go to me since I was his only child, but I was too young at the time, so it went to my grandmother. It was sad to see that I was going to be losing my childhood home because my brother stole money my other siblings had given him for the mortgage and ran off. I wish this was about him, but I never see him anymore. The story. Enter my eldest sister, who is an entitled parent of all things, and her crotch fruit was also an entitled spawn, who moved into the home to save money during the foreclosure. Since it would take a few years, we all decided to stay as long as we could. Now my eldest sister, who grew up having to take care of our other siblings, not me, because I lived with my dad and stepmom, is still stuck in this mindset that I am a child and have to do whatever she said, especially because she helped me out. I had lived with her for a few months before I moved back home. She's the type to go, "Oh, I helped you, so now you have to help me." And of course I did, because I felt obligated. She had also helped me get a job at her job. I appreciated all of this, but things started to go downhill from here. We were all saving money. She told me I'd have to stay with her since I wouldn't be able to get one on my own. I believe this. I am a new adult and still stuck in little sister pushover mode, and my sister knows this. Anyways, I saved $100 or more from every paycheck because we were going to put down a down payment for a house in a while. The abuse she gave me started getting bad. My sister is really trashy, and whenever I did something outside of my race, she'll claim, "Why are you acting like another race?" I'm pro-choice, so she would make fun of me being pro-choice. She hated the fact that I loved my dog more than her kids. She had another baby. Lord knows she couldn't afford another one, and she used to talk shit about my dog. She would take my phone and read through my messages. I'd have naughty messages to my BF, and she'd try to kink shame me. She'd make fun of my depression and suicide attempt and make me feel like I was nothing without her, even though she'd constantly ask me for money out of my personal savings and made me believe it was for baby food, but it was actually for weed. She actually went into my room and stole $80 from me for weed. She eventually paid it back, but still. I'd ask her not to smoke in my room because I have asthma, but she'd still come in with a cigarette or a joint. If I spent money on myself, she'd be like, "You know we need to save money." But yet she spent $400 in Christmas gifts her spawn would never use. When we worked together, she got pissed off and jealous when my coworkers praised me and used to try to talk shit about me to them behind my back. She was my ride, and we were always late for work because her excuse was, "I have kids. I need to get them ready for school and daycare." I was happy to see that my bosses never really wrote me up because of her wrongdoings. My manager and supervisor even told me that she was only still hired cause I worked there. That made me feel good about myself cause I feel worthless a lot of the times. The abuse got so much worse, and one incident happened that I don't want to talk right now made me think, I am an adult. I am not a child anymore. She needs to realize that. I hid my money, started being more strict with her entitled child, and whenever she would try to dish me some abuse, I'd dish it back. Enough of it. I decided that I was going to move away from the toxicity that was her and the rest of my family. I took the rest of my money and put down a down payment for a car. Of course her reaction was irate. "You know we need to move." I didn't care. I had already planned on moving cities. 2 days later, her car breaks down and wasn't able to be repaired. If it wasn't for me getting a car, she wouldn't have been able to get to work. During this whole thing, I was still in a bit of pushover mode and decided to let her use my car for things, especially since I wasn't driving as much. I had nowhere to go and was a new driver. Of course, she would bring the car back low on gas and demand I help her pay for gas, though she was the one using the car. She let her spawns make a mess out of my car and never cleaned it out. The kid broke the back of the seat off because it kept kicking it. She even brought roaches into the car. The last straw was when she started talking shit about me while I end my CAR. She was supposed to be helping me learn how to drive in exchange for me letting her use my damn car all the time. She was on the phone with her friend and I was listening to music. I was switching through songs and heard her talking, sister. Yeah, she wants me to help her learn how to drive, but I got stuff to live for. I got kids. She has her dog. She thinks that's something to live for. Me, well, I can drive home alone and you can get a ride from baby daddy's name. This pisses her off and I proceed to put on my music, but I can still hear her talking shit. Enough is enough. We finally got the eviction notice and my sister gets upset when I tell her I'm moving to another city and not with them. I was not going to help her rent a house when she has a baby daddy to help her. She is angry and annoyed, but I do not care. She is downing me and saying I wouldn't make it. I put in my 2 weeks. My manager and supervisor says they'll give me a great recommendation for my other jobs. And I moved to another city. Of course, my manager and supervisor was right. She was fired shortly after I left because she had a shitty attitude and I was gone. She had no ride anymore besides using her baby daddy's van that drink up gas easily. She won't be getting any good references because she couldn't learn how to be a kind person. I proved her wrong. Got an apartment a month after moving to my new city. I don't feel bad at all and feel like I gave her back so much more than I should had. My revenge is knowing that she needed me, but I left her alone with no help. I guess this isn't pro-revenge. Again, this is my first post, and if this is in the wrong topic, then please let me know and I'll move it. Edit. Before I left, my sister did try to guilt trip me. She'd talk about how she'd have no transportation or how I'd miss my 2 nieces' birthdays. I didn't care. She said she didn't want to lose the only good sister she had left. No problems with police or drugs in me. Too bad she didn't really realize that she was pushing me away.